Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode here on the channel. Today, it's gonna be kind of another quick update for you all. That's a really important update, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, basically I'm kind of just working on some stuff in the fish room. Some things happened that I need to update you guys on, and also just wanted to show you guys around the aquarium, the fish room a little bit more. So first and foremost, let's just get the bad news out of the way. If you've been following this channel, you might have seen that the angels that we rescued recently, they had a batch of eggs, they had a clutch, and it was right when I had to go to Florida. Went down to Florida, visited some family, did some cool stuff with them, came back up here. The fish had survived. They'd made it to wiggler stage, which I thought they would because they rely on the egg sac for a little while. But then calamity struck. Multiple things could have happened. One, the fish room did get a little bit hotter. I don't think that's the reason, because their aquarium maybe got to 85 and usually it sits around, like right now it's at 83 and angels love 84. So I doubt that's what happened. More realistically, what I think happened was, oh my gosh, that I didn't feed enough. And by enough, I mean frequency. I definitely know I fed enough each time I fed, but frequency-wise, and why I have this glove on, I'll explain in a second. But let's just do kind of a quick recap of all the aquariums. So let's go ahead and turn you around. So again, if you've never, been here, been part of the channel, welcome to the fish room. Down here is the 75 with tilapia. They're doing good. Just gave them a water change recently, and already the bottom is covered in poo-poo. This is the 55 with tilapia. Again, these are the bigger boys and girls, and they also are covered in poo-poo. They're up here because this is where I feed them. Don't know why they think they're gonna get fed again. Come on, no, you're not getting fed. Up here, from the quarantine that I'm still doing, is some neon tetras and some high fin cories. They're doing really good. I added in some hornwort just because, A, why not? Because I have it. B, I needed to cut this hornwort, and that's why this thing looks so small now. It does need to kick back a little bit, but this is the black Oscar aquarium and the black common pleco aquarium, and then the dirtiest aquarium we have in the room right now is this lovely thing. I love this aquarium. Why do I love this aquarium? A, bristlenose plecos might be my favorite thing in the world, especially these calico ones, and this angelfish is gorgeous. I cannot wait for it to become part of the brood stock. It is beautiful. I know it's a common pattern, but it is gorgeous to me. And just kind of my own success of this, right there is the original plant. Runner, 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 runner. The original plant, runner, runner, runner. The original plant, runner, runner, and there's actually another one underneath there. The original plant, runner, runner. I mean, all of these are doing fantastic. This one, it's not actually in the ground. I need to seed it a little bit, and then this is where it's at. We threw these Java ferns in here. I don't know if it was last video or since I recorded something, but they were in here. Any hope of having this thing aquascaped in any capacity, I've just thrown to the wind. They make these holes and nests constantly. They're constantly sand sifting, which I like. It's cool. And it'll eventually be a 55 for shrimp. And then these things. Let me get up on my trusty cobalt ladder. But there's mom, and there's dad. And if you look back there, there's the clutch of eggs. Yeah, so happy parents. Definitely need to get the algae scraper in this aquarium and get some off. Speaking of algae and the perpetual algae machine, Perry! Yeah, Perry's aquarium always has algae, and just look at the PVC pipe. Like, yes, it was spray painted, but that is an aged PVC pipe. Like, that's got loads and loads of beneficial bacteria. Let's go ahead and step down. I'll talk about this tank in a little bit. The stock tanks, I think, are looking way better in the middle because they're probably only going to be like this tall, all said and done. So I can still look over and see basically all the other tanks. So it's going to be a good kind of meet in between Still figuring out where to put all the 10s and these extra 255s. I've been contemplating over there behind the racks, especially because I was going to use these as like grow out containers. So maybe, I don't know, I'll figure it all out, but I need access to the breaker, obviously. But here's the quarantine setup. These are doing fantastic. The black skirts are doing good. The Serpes are looking beautiful. The two angels that we have in here are gorgeous. The Cories are doing good, and the Coolie Loaches are also doing good. So everyone is doing pretty awesome, and just like that, it actually just hit 7. So good thing I got done with all those aquariums. So let's move over to these aquariums. First and foremost, 2 African side neck turtles are doing really, really good, and somewhere in there is a giant pleco that eats the zucchini like it's nothing. You can kind of see the cord remains of the zucchini there, and no, that is not it. That's a piece of wood. It usually hangs out on the back glass back there, and then this doesn't have a light on it quite yet, so it doesn't really matter. But if you can see in the front, and I'll try and catch it, yeah, it's right here, right above. You can see its yellow tail actually really well through the camera, and especially when it goes in front of the rock. That is the damselfish, and actually right down here is the damselfish's home. So it actually has burrowed its way into that rock. And then we've got the 2 clownfish, and they actually right back there, kind of where they are now, that's where they've burrowed. You can see it's getting really aggressive when the damsel comes near their nest. But it's kind of burrowed in the back there. That is the cycled media I was given. Tanks staying stable. I built the overflow, and originally it was going to be on this side. Built it on this side because it's just shorter to get to this point. But the issue is the pump that I had that I've been using for these 2 when it was set up originally, and I'll be redoing it, pumps too fast. Even turned all the way down, if I turned down, because it's an AC pump, I just mean like the valve turned down, it pumps too fast to where it cannot overflow fast enough because of the type of overflow system that I'm using. I don't have a weir, I have one of the kind of U-shape overflows. So I've got 2 options. I can make a weir, or I just get a smaller pump. This 75 down here, I've actually been using to mix my, my salt water. So I mix it down here, I take the pump, I put it in here, and I pump fresh salt water into the aquarium. And the power head's moving stuff, and I mean, with the filtered media in here, is it the best setup ever? No. Does it work? Yes. Was it annoying trying to get this overflow to work? Yes. Did I make this really custom long like suck valve to get all the air out of it? Also yes, and it actually works really well. I won't need it once it's fully set up, but hey, here we are. And the skimmer works. The skimmer actually is fantastic. So I just need to get a lower power pump or fix the overflow system. Probably just gonna go with the lower power pump. But yeah, so that is kind of a quick update on everything going on in the fish room. But you might notice there's something here, and there's not something there because it's over there on the ground. And those somethings are tanks that are not blacked out and they're not filled with water. Why? And if you know me, I like to put water in the tanks just because. And this one has no livestock. It actually just has magnolia leaves because I was just soaking some magnolia leaves that I have outside. But why am I referencing any of this? I'm referencing it, and I need to turn that light off for a second, because that's actually what I'm doing right now. And partly why I wanted to make a quick little vlog is if we look down here, we've actually got some silicone and stuff. I'm resealing these 29s. So this one just needed one of the 4 corners resealed. This one, yeah, this one needs all 4 corners resealed. And this beauty, this is my favorite one, needs all 4 corners and the bottom completely resealed. So out of the 3, I'm definitely doing least amount of work, second least amount of work, most amount of work. And then finally, look at that, we got another brine shrimp hatcher. So the beauty of this is that I can start this one, and then when I'm like collecting this, I can start this one, so I can feed the brine shrimp to the fry 2 to 4 times a day. I was feeding it, I believe, 2 times a day, and then I also took some of the, I'll actually show you, I took some of this, just a helpful tip for any of you that are watching. I took this Extreme krill flakes, and you can kind of see what they look like. They're just like any other flake food except for made by Extreme, which honestly, I heard a lot of hype around Extreme. Never tried their food before. And by tried, I mean used it on my fish. Yeah, it's the real deal. I say that wholeheartedly, like I'm not even messing around. But what you do is you take that and then you put it into a mortar and pestle. And let me just get some on the pestle here. Of course I can't. But you just crush it up into a really, really fine mixture. And that's some, oh bleep, I have fry in my tank solution. Is you go ahead and just use that. But the other solution, which I also went ahead and picked up as a oh bleep, I have fry, or an oh bleep, my brine shrimp aren't ready, is Hikari First Bites. Take a little bit of it, tap it on the front or the top of the glass, and it'll dissipate. It's small enough for them to eat. So yeah, I'm just working on some different stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and who knows how long this video is gonna take, because I'm actually, it could be weeks for all I know, or at least a week. But I'm going to reseal these aquariums today. I'll fill test them, black them out, put them on the rack, and show you guys the rack fully done. But I'm also going to be ordering some, my gosh, what is it called? Greenhouse paneling soon again, which if you don't know is what I used for the lids, because that 20 needs a lid. Both of these 75s over here need lids. This 55 still needs a lid, and then of course the 29s need lids, but they also need filtration, substrate, they need everything. But then the 20 gallon that's up front needs a lid. It's got a hang-on back filter running with the sponge filter right now that I'm kind of just pushing towards the end of its life, and then I'm going to take that and the top off, and I'm going to do a actual like greenhouse lid with a Hydro light on top. It just looks cleaner. I don't like the dome lights. Call me stupid, but I really don't like it. But yeah, so anyways, I'm gonna get back to sealing. And call me Sai if you get that reference. Let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. But hopefully you guys like it in the end. And also, side note, these are gonna be painted one day soon as well. Whole fish room, wood, cinder blocks, all painted. I'll put tarps over the aquariums, paint all the wood and stuff. It'll look pretty clean. But until then, we're just gonna paint the aquariums. So let's get to it. Okay, so good news with not bad news, but just okay news. We got the paint. So the 29s are painting outside. Well, the 29s are not painting. The 29s have been painted, I guess, outside. The baddish news, or the neutral news, is they didn't have matte black, unfortunately, so I had to do gloss black. But even with the gloss black, I don't really think it's gonna be that big of an issue. But here, let's go ahead and turn it around, and boom. So we've got these two, which were the light brown ones, and then this one, which was the really messed up. I had to do all of the different corners. That is the one that was a little bit darker black. And I just used a tarp with some 5-gallon buckets on the sides. These are just some remnant pieces that I had for just some other projects that I put together because of the 20-gallon quarantine that we have the high-fin Pilatus cories and the neons in. I needed a little bit more, so I went ahead and went over them with the kind of like speckled cocoa on top, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with like some clay and then some like clay colored spray paint and then some green, and just make it look a little bit nicer like we do with them all. But one thing to note is that when I was doing this, I like to make sure that the trim is also colored instead of that wood. So I'm going to take this razor blade, I'm going to actually take it in one of the scrapers that I have, because I believe this is now dry, and I'm going to scrape what's on the glass, so it's just the trim. So we're going to do that, then we're going to get it into the garage, get them racked, and then yeah, next week's going to be a good one. I've already partially shot it, and yeah, you guys should be excited. Okay, so it's actually the next day, and they're racked. Reason being is when I brought this one inside, the top one, found out very quickly actually
that there was a section missing that because of how the light was hitting it outside, I just couldn't notice it. So that's unfortunate, but let's go ahead and step back and let's turn around and show you guys the new rack system. So if you guys saw one of the older videos where we got the saltwater, the African side necks with the pleco, and then the currently empty 75 that I've been using to mix saltwater for water changes in, next to it we built out the 29 rack. And the reason for this was A, I needed to rack these 29s, B, it looks nice all together, and C, I wanted more tanks. So these 29s, I'm not sure exactly what all I'm going to use for. One of them is actually going to eventually have these in it, and a cool little thing is that the fry, and I'm not sure if it'll pick it up very well or not, it's not looking like it's focusing very well, but the fry are actually starting to wiggle off the leaf, so they're not quite free swimmers yet, but they're getting there. But everyone's doing good. Make sure to come back next episode though, speaking of tanks, because we actually moved some stuff around. The 55 in the rec room and the 55 in here got a little bit of a facelift, and some things changed. So yeah, I'm excited. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna feed some fish. I'm gonna get some things together. I'm gonna get it all good to go. But if you did enjoy, make sure to like this video, subscribe, come back next time, and let's get it.